The year was 1945. World War II raged across the globe with millions perished and cities in ruins. In Europe, the Allied forces were closing in on Nazi Germany, while in the Pacific, a bitter struggle raged between Japan and the United States. Amidst the chaos, a top-secret American military program was nearing completion. The Manhattan Project, involving some of the world's brightest minds, had been racing against time to develop a weapon of unimaginable power, the atomic bomb. As the war in Europe drew to a close, the focus shifted to the Pacific theater, where Japan remained a formidable foe. The stage was set for a final, decisive confrontation that would forever alter the course of human history. In the secluded deserts of New Mexico, a different kind of war was being waged, a war against the very atom itself.
Led by the enigmatic physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer, the Manhattan Project became a crucible of innovation. The scientists understood the gravity of their task, the potential for both unimaginable destruction and unprecedented progress that lay dormant within the atom. They worked tirelessly, driven by a complex mix of patriotism, scientific curiosity, and the sobering realization that the fate of the world might hinge on their success.
Years of relentless research and experimentation culminated in a pivotal moment, the Trinity test. On July 16, 1945, in the desolate landscape of the New Mexico desert, the world's first atomic bomb was detonated. The world had entered the atomic age, but at what cost? August 6, 1945, dawned bright and clear over Hiroshima, a bustling city of 350,000 souls, going about their daily lives, unaware of the impending catastrophe. High above, in the clear blue sky, a lone American B-29 bomber, the Enola Gay, approached, carrying a payload that would forever alter the course of history, a weapon of unprecedented destructive power. At 8:15 a.m. local time, the unimaginable occurred, changing the world forever. The atomic bomb, nicknamed Little Boy, detonated above the city with the force of 15,000 tons of TNT, creating a massive fireball. The world as Hiroshima knew it vanished in an instant, replaced by chaos and destruction. A blinding flash of light, hotter than the sun, seared the sky, leaving an indelible mark on history. A deafening roar shattered the morning calm, followed by a shockwave that pulverized buildings and hurled people through the air, causing unimaginable suffering. The city, once a vibrant tapestry of life, was reduced to a smoldering ruin, a ghostly shadow of its former self, a landscape of unimaginable devastation, where hope seemed lost. In the aftermath, a strange, eerie silence descended upon the city, a silence that spoke volumes of the tragedy that had unfolded. 3 days after the catastrophic bombing of Hiroshima, the world watched in horror and waited with bated breath, hoping against hope that such an atrocity would never be repeated. The devastation was unimaginable, and the scars left on humanity were deep and painful. But the relentless war machine, once set in motion, proved difficult to stop. The gears of conflict continued to turn, driven by a momentum that seemed unstoppable. On August 9, 1945, just days after Hiroshima, the United States dropped a second atomic bomb, this time targeting the port city of Nagasaki. The decision was made amidst a backdrop of ongoing war and desperation. At precisely 11:02 a.m. local time, the plutonium bomb, ominously nicknamed Fat Man, detonated over the Urakami Valley, an industrial area of Nagasaki. The explosion was a harbinger of unprecedented destruction. The bomb, even more powerful than the one dropped on Hiroshima, unleashed a wave of devastation that instantly killed an estimated 40,000 people. The sheer force of the blast was beyond comprehension. The blast obliterated everything within a 1-mile radius, leaving behind a scene of utter devastation and desolation. Buildings were reduced to rubble, and lives were shattered in an instant. The use of atomic weapons had crossed a moral Rubicon, ushering in a new and terrifying era in human history. The world would never be the same again as the shadow of nuclear warfare loomed large over the future of humanity.
The bombing of Nagasaki, often overshadowed by the Hiroshima attack, carries its own unique and tragic legacy. The city, with its deep Christian roots and history as a center of international trade, had long been a place of cultural exchange and openness to the outside world. The atomic bombing, however, cast a long shadow over Nagasaki, silencing its vibrant spirit and leaving behind a legacy of pain and loss. In the aftermath of the bombing, Nagasaki, like Hiroshima, struggled to rebuild. The physical scars of the blast served as constant reminders of the devastation. But it was the invisible wounds, the psychological trauma, and the lingering effects of radiation exposure that proved most difficult to heal.
The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki sent shockwaves through Japan, shattering any illusions of victory and forcing the nation to confront the horrific reality of its situation.
On August 15, 1945, in a radio address broadcast across the nation, Emperor Hirohito announced Japan's unconditional surrender to the Allied forces. The Emperor's voice, heard by most Japanese citizens for the first time, conveyed the gravity of the situation and the difficult decision he had made. The war, which had claimed millions of lives and plunged the world into darkness, was finally over.
Japan's surrender marked the end of World War II, a conflict that had engulfed the globe and left an indelible scar on the human psyche. A world transformed. The nuclear age begins. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki marked a profound turning point in human history. The world, forever changed by the devastating power unleashed upon those two cities, had entered the nuclear age. The development and use of atomic weapons ushered in an era of unprecedented danger, one in which the very survival of humanity seemed precariously balanced on a knife's edge. The bombings triggered a global arms race as nations scrambled to develop their own nuclear arsenals. The United States and the Soviet Union emerged as superpowers, locked in a tense and dangerous standoff known as the Cold War. The threat of nuclear annihilation loomed large, casting a long shadow over international relations and shaping the post-war world.
Remembering Hiroshima and Nagasaki, a call for peace. These cities stand as solemn reminders of the past, urging us to strive for a future without conflict. In the decades since the atomic bombings, Hiroshima and Nagasaki have become powerful symbols of the human cost of war and the urgent need for peace. The scars left by these events are a testament to the destructive power of nuclear weapons. Every year, on August 6th and 9th, Hiroshima and Nagasaki hold solemn ceremonies to commemorate the victims of the atomic bombings and to call for a world free from nuclear weapons. These events bring together people from all over the world, united in their desire for peace. Survivors, known as hibakusha, share their stories, bearing witness to the horrors they endured and urging the world to learn from the mistakes of the past. Their testimonies are a powerful plea for humanity to never repeat such atrocities. These commemorations serve as powerful reminders of the devastating consequences of nuclear war and the urgent need to prevent such tragedies from ever happening again. They inspire a global movement towards disarmament and peace. The cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki have become centers for peace education and advocacy, working tirelessly to raise awareness about the dangers of nuclear weapons. Through education and outreach, they aim to foster a culture of peace and understanding for future generations. The urgency of disarmament, a future free from fear. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki serve as a stark reminder of the urgent need for nuclear disarmament. The existence of these weapons, capable of unimaginable destruction, poses an existential threat to humanity. The only way to guarantee that such horrors are never repeated is to eliminate these weapons from the face of the earth. The path to disarmament is long and challenging, fraught with political obstacles and technical complexities. But the goal, a world free from the threat of nuclear war, is one worth striving for. Towards a peaceful dawn, lessons from the ashes. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki stand as a stark and somber reminder of the destructive capacity of humanity. Yet from the ashes of these tragedies, a powerful message of hope and resilience emerges. The hibakusha, the survivors of the bombings, have dedicated their lives to sharing their stories and advocating for a world free from nuclear weapons. Their courage and determination serve as an inspiration to us all. The lessons of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are urgent calls to action, reminders that the pursuit of peace, justice, and a world free from nuclear weapons is a responsibility we all share.